Well, greetings there, folks, and welcome to another little episode. So, what am I about today? Well, currently we are sitting in the Okanogan Highlands, north central Washington, I should say. Really close to the Canadian border, actually. This area has a rich and interesting history, both from a Native American perspective. There have been tribes living in this land for God knows how long, but also for a European American perspective. This first really started seeing some heavy traffic, shall we say, of settlers in the early mid 1800s. Um, Mostly friendly relations with the Okanagan tribe up here. That eventually eroded like it always did in those days. But lots and lots of development started happening in here, and this is just amazing cattle land, as well as there's some pretty good mineral deposits throughout here. And so you saw a bunch of boom towns pop up. Now, of those, most of them have fallen into disrepair or have completely just rotted away. You see a lot of rotten buildings off in the distance as you're sort of coming up here. But there is one old town site, the town of Molsen. And a historical society came in and have done their best to just keep it together, keep it maintained, to really be able to showcase that history. So let's go check that out, yeah? See you there. The old Molsen Cemetery. Can't quite read the sign, but I think it says March 19th, 1910. Let's go check it out. Looks like there's quite a few people buried here. A lot of names on that board. A lot of these are so eroded you can't hardly tell what they say, but mixed amongst it's brand new stuff too. There's some that are just little piles of rubble left. You could tell a marker used to be there. It's kind of interesting. Oldest one I found was 1906. Kind of a creepy little setup they got going on in here. Side of the old bank.
Hard to read these signs, but it says Law and Order of the Highlands, 1896 to 1972. Highly doubt that was still the cop shop in 1972. Well, I might have been wrong. This might have been the cop shop up until the 70s. What a pretty stopping spot. So, what'd you all think of the old Molsen, that town we were at? Kind of cool. As I've driven through here, there's so many old homesteads that have just rotted out, and sometimes with a new one built right across the street from it. It's just kind of a cool area with a lot of interesting history. I appreciate the Okanogan Historical Society taking the time to kind of open up that town site, make it safe for people to be able to go into the buildings. It's like it all looks original and super weathered, but you can tell where pieces had rotted out and they just went in and kind of not rebuilt it, but repaired it. But they used nicely weathered wood and stuff, so it was like kind of hard to spot. You just could tell. Very cool. That said, we are continuing to push east, going through some parts of Washington I've never been in. I've been a bit south of here. Shiloh and I came through and played around, but I've never been this close to the Canadian border for the entire length of the state or width of the state. It's kind of cool territory. It's a lot more mountainous than you realize when you're coming through, like on I-90 or whatever. But anyway, let's keep pushing on and get a little closer to the Idaho border. I'm not sure where I'm going to be staying tonight, but I'd like to have reception because I need to catch up on work and whatnot. I guess I've got Starlink, but it's finicky in heavy forest. So anyway, let's keep moving. Well, folks, welcome to tonight's campsite. We are on Lake Roosevelt. So really, this is, if you get right down to it, part of well, it will turn into the Columbia River, I'll put it that way. Columbia obviously runs past. Lake Roosevelt is a pretty big lake reservoir that dumps into it and feeds it, and that's where the Columbia starts to get really big. But anyway, this seemed like a good little stopping point. Right on the edge of Colville National Forest. We crossed through a lot of country today, and I just decided that let's take advantage of all the developed campgrounds along here. It's off season, mid-October. Nobody uses them this time of year. There's somebody in a trailer over there a ways, and I haven't seen anybody else. So, seems like a good campsite. And, yeah, I ain't got nothing else to say. I'll show you around a little bit, and then I'll chat at the camera later. All right, folks. I think I'm going to call a wrap on this episode. I've got maybe 45 minutes left of light, a little bit more. And it is super overcast and getting grayer. It's kind of white behind me, but the rest of the sky is pretty dark. So I suspect I got rain coming in. So I'm going to get myself cleaned up and ready to hunker down as soon as it starts falling. But I hope you enjoyed wandering with me today. Very interesting little trip up there, old Molsen, and some of the surrounding terrain right up against the Canadian border. Be fun to go explore all over back in there and see what else there is to see. Maybe that's something we can do next year. But right now, short days, long nights, and it gets cold at night. Kind of sucks in a way. But, hey, it's fun. Ironically, everywhere I've gone, there's everybody in bright orange vests, hunting these hills, and good on them. But haven't heard shots, haven't seen anybody with a deer, and I just had 4 walk through, 2 does, a fawn, and there's the other one sitting over there by the bathrooms, and it's a buck. Too bad I'm not hunting. Not that I could, hunt in a campground, but anyway, thank you for traveling with me, and I will see you on down the road.